Hi everybody, my name is Professor Ben.
And I'm Dr. Aziz, and we want to start today by asking you a quick question. How would your life be if you were completely free from any sort of social fear?
What if you were able to talk to people without social anxiety? What if you were able to speak to somebody that you were attracted to without that crushing fear of rejection? What if you were able to walk into a room of people, a large group perhaps, and be able to be yourself without fear of their judgments?
And what would your life look like if you could do all those things? If you could really be free of this fear? Take a moment to really think about that. What would you do? Would you interact differently at work? Would you create better relationships or friendships? Would you speak differently in meetings? How would your social life be different? Would you be able to go to group activities that you're drawn to? Would you be able to talk to that person that you're really interested in, really attracted to, and actually take the risk to ask them out for a date and create an outstanding relationships possibly with them?
Is this possible? We are here to say that this is absolutely 100% possible. The reason why we know that this is possible is because our own stories prove this to be true. You know, when I was a young man, I was absolutely crushed by social fear. I was paralyzed. I was unable to speak to people. I was unable to hold eye contact. I was unable to approach women that I found attractive. I could not speak up in groups. It was very difficult for me to make friends.
And not only do I share many of those aspects of Ben's story, I mean, I stuck in a cage of social anxiety for like 10 years. But that wasn't the worst part about it. All those limitations, all that stuff wasn't the worst part about it. The worst part about it was what happened in my own mind and how I treated myself in my own head. I was self-critical. I was down on myself after every interaction. I would think, they think I'm stupid. They think I'm rude. They think I'm awkward. I'm not good enough. What's wrong with me? And I just walked around feeling so low all of the time. And that pain is what drove me and what drove Ben to find a way out. Like, I have to figure this out or my life's not going to be anywhere near where I want it to be. And so we harvested and found these tools to really radically transform your experience from anxiety to confidence and freedom.
So he and I have both spent many hours just addressing this work in our own lives, just out of that desire to be more, that sort of subtle hint in our own selves that we knew we could be better, that knew we could be bigger, that knew we could get over these things that were holding us back. So by throwing ourselves into this work over and over and over again, we've come to certain key discoveries. These are the things we want to share with you. We can just give you a couple right now. One of which that was so powerful for me was the realization that my fears are created by beliefs and that all those beliefs aren't necessarily true. The world isn't the way that I perceive it.
Yeah, that one is huge, and that's actually one of the main ways we help people transform, is we talk a lot about your story, your ideas, your beliefs, and we hold them as hypotheses, like a guess or a prediction. If I go talk to that person, they're going to think this about me. If I go ask that person out, they're going to think I'm a weirdo, or whatever the story is. And then we help you have the confidence and to be able to shift your state to go test it out. Check it out in reality and see what really happens. And what you'll find is that when you have the courage to face those fears and walk into them, they dissolve like shadows. That the vast majority of things we tell ourselves don't actually happen, and people respond incredibly well. In fact, that led to something that came out of some work we were just doing last night with some people in Portland. You want to tell the story of Saeed?
Yeah, so we had one student, probably in his mid-20s or late 20s. He came here from another culture, so his experience with socializing with women in particular was that he was not allowed to. He was not really permitted to, that it was socially inappropriate. So the kind of amounts of fear that he had were really quite powerful, and you could see it in his body language, you could see it in the way he walked around, you could see it in the way he talked to people. But just in a short period of time, and about 20 minutes of actually interacting in the world, you could watch him open. You could see him realize actually that the world is this friendly place.
And that's actually what the realization he had. He's like, the world is a friendly place. And you could see it, this transformation that happened. And that's what happens when we test our beliefs and we really see what's on the other side of them. And that's what we want to invite you to do with us in a one-day workshop held here in Portland, Oregon on September 27th, Saturday. And we're going to go, in the morning, we're going to get into the ideas and the stories and help you shift them and change your state and activate a sense of confidence. And then in the afternoon and during the rest of the day, we're going to go out and test this stuff out. And there's so many things that you're going to learn in this workshop with us.
Yeah, I mean, the big part, like we were saying, is the ability to overcome these fears, to see not actually true, and to see that they are old models of looking at the world that you can be cast to one side, given the right circumstances and given the right sort of physiology and given the right sort of self-talk, that you can overcome these things. You can generate the power to move past them in yourselves. This is a lot of the stuff that we work with, and there's a lot of joy around this. There's a lot of joy around expansion and around this kind of freedom and the ability to actually go out, and this is a big part of what we're going to do. We'll work with people individually and figure out a fear that person wants to try to overcome that day, and we will coach them through that process of overcoming that fear. So there'll be interactions with the public, and then after we have those kinds of interactions with the public, people will come back and we'll talk about what it is to go through that, and we'll talk about that kind of possible contraction that happens after you live past those boundaries that you've set for yourself.
Yeah, and I just got a big smile on my face when Ben was saying that, because there's so much joy in the process of going out into the world. And I've heard this feedback before about the event. Sometimes people say, oh, geez, go on a Saturday and talk about fears? That sounds kind of heavy. And what consistently happens, though, is halfway through the day, people start laughing. It's fun and it's funny and it's connecting, and you feel this sense of freedom and liberation. And that's what we want for you. I mean, we've explored this journey in each of our own selves for many, many years, decade. But on top of that, we've actually, each of us has worked with hundreds of people to help them make these shifts in their lives, and invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in education and developing our training so we can really deliver these things. And that's what we're so excited, and that's what we want to give to you in this event.
Yeah, and all of this is really just an extension of the work that we've done. We see ourselves as overcoming these fears, and we really want to provide that kind of experience for those who are like us, those who are looking to grow, those who are looking to build, and those who are not going to settle for what they've had before anymore. So if you feel like you're one of those people, you're somebody that work with, somebody that is feeling a little bit of that social anxiety still, or even a tremendous amount of social anxiety, we really encourage you to sort of even take the step right now to walk past a little bit of that fear and come to the event. Maybe click on the link below and sign up for a seat. They will go fast. We have a limited amount of them. But we really are looking forward to working with you each individually and each as a group, and we're looking forward to spreading this kind of fantastic experience as widely as possible.
So absolutely, if you want to join us, click the link below and register now. And we look forward to seeing you at the end of September here, September 27th, for Liberate Yourself.